With conditions deteriorating in Venezuela as the crisis there continues, National Security Advisor John Bolton Wednesday unveiled tough new sanctions on that country and on its allies, Cuba and Nicaragua. In a speech in Miami, Bolton blasted former President Barack Obama's opening to Cuba, saying Havana is helping the Maduro government cling to power.
To justify its policy of normalizing relations with Cuba, President Obama said Cuba, and I quote, poses no genuine threat. Tell that to the American diplomats who were attacked in Havana. Tell that to the terrorized people of Venezuela.
Earlier, Secretary of State Mike Pompeo announced the Trump administration would begin enforcing a provision of a 1996 law that allows U.S. citizens who had property confiscated in Cuba during the Cold War to file lawsuits. Until now, that provision, called Title III, had been waived by previous presidents.
Détente with the regime has failed. Cozying up to Cuban dictators will always be a black mark on this great nation's long record of defending human rights. For these reasons, I'm announcing that the Trump administration will no longer suspend Title III. Effective May 2nd, the right to bring an action under Title III of the Libertad Act will be implemented in full. I have already informed Congress of my decision.
European countries strongly oppose allowing lawsuits against foreign companies doing business with Cuba and are threatening to challenge the move at the World Trade Organization.
Here in Cuba, we are aware that financial transactions are getting more and more difficult, which is the point of these measures. They are intended to make businesses reluctant to invest in Cuba and put money in Punta Cana, Panama, or Cancun.
The U.S. Treasury Department also announced changes to restrict non-family travel from the U.S. to Cuba, calling it veiled tourism. Bolton said the goal is to steer American dollars away from the Cuban regime, its military and security services. The U.S. has also sanctioned the Central Bank of Venezuela and its director, and the Ortega government in Nicaragua. Cindy Saine, VOA News, the State Department.